Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. My name's Anton, bringing you today's 5 things we learned from the Fulham game. Of course, we've saw West Ham rescue a point at the end of the game against Fulham. We've walked away with a point, a game of two halves, in my opinion. Interesting take on West Ham when you look at social media. I take sometimes social media with a pinch of salt, even though I'm on it, and we're on it as the West Ham Network. But everyone is entitled to their own opinions. But I am here to talk to you about the 5 things that I feel like we've learned from the Fulham game in itself. So you can let me know as you watch along if you agree or disagree on the points that I have made. So the first thing I have noticed is, in particular, since the start of the season, but in particular today from the Fulham game, we need to get Kudus onto the ball. Kudus is world class. He really, really is. Several times in the game today, specifically in the first half, he had to drop so deep to come and collect the ball, but he would take on sometimes 5 or 6 players, and he was getting the ball past them, and we were lacking that options to give him support. Obviously, that's down to team selection. We'll come on to that in a second, but you need to get your best players. You're talking about probably £100 million player. We need to get him on the ball a lot more. That means we need to get him involved, i.e. if that means we need to change his position, then so be it, but we need to get him more involved, because when he's on the ball, he sets the world alight. When he's on the ball, he's electric. People were saying that it wasn't Kudus' day. In actual fact, I think that it was just his position that really had a negative-ish impact on him today, but I thought he was one of West Ham's better players as a whole throughout the whole game. Again, a player who's got such a world-class talent, you need to give the ball to him as much as you possibly can. So let me know your thoughts on Kudus, and do you agree with my point there? Number 2, Konstantinos Mavropanos has mistakes in him, and I don't like to say it, and I don't want to be that guy, but it's true. And it's been happening for this whole season so far. It's been happening a bit last season when we saw him play, and it's time now for that change to happen. Today, I was really annoyed about Konstantinos Mavropanos, because when the ball went over the top and Smith Rowe read that offside like perfect, Dinos stopped and didn't play to the whistle. And if he didn't hesitate that ever so slightly, I'm not saying he would have definitely got there, but he would have made it harder for Smith Rowe to cross that ball in for Jimenez to put the ball in the back of the net. And I think that's his naivety, and I just don't see it. And I think he's going to be a great backup for West Ham, but I think it's time to make that transition and put Todibo in alongside Kilman. For me, it's a no-brainer. And the mistakes and the calamities that I feel like is leading from his area in defence is leaky. And it's a problem, and I don't want to see that. I think his confidence is maybe shot a little bit as well. He looks uncomfortable on the ball when he collects it in the back line. Nothing complete opposite with Max Kilman, who I think is very comfortable on the ball as well. So let me know your thoughts about Dinos and his mistakes. I've got the wrong image there, so let me just find it for. As you can see from the image, I've sorted it out, so we're back up and running. But for me, point number 3 is that we desperately need to have a ball-playing midfielder, or midfielder stroke times by 2. You know, the moment we brought Paquetá on for the second half, the dynamics of the game dramatically changed. Of course, we saw Carlos Soler make his debut for West Ham today, and I thought he put in a reasonable shift. He didn't have a lot to do. He couldn't get maybe enough time to get involved in the game enough, but it's clear to see that the team selection wasn't great from the start. We can't be playing 3 central defensive midfielders in Tommy Soucek, in Rodriguez, and Alvarez, and that needs to change. And I would rather see Soler and Paquetá, or Paquetá and someone else come in through the middle to allow us to have that ball-playing midfield. And having that lack of players who can hold on to the ball, drive forward, calm things down, keep things calm, really was quite distressing in the first half, and very clear to see that was the mistake, which leads me in nicely to point number 4. And it's about Julian Lopetegui, who did get it wrong today for the starting lineup. He absolutely did, but he is not afraid to make changes, and we've seen that, because at half-time, bang, something wasn't working. He's changed it, and he's gone for 2 players, something we've not been used to for quite a while at West Ham. And I like that, that he sees those changes, and he's willing to make those substitutes, and he's willing to utilise the squad where necessary to give, one force changed, of course, with Emerson going off and forcing Sefal to come on. fantastic shout out to Wan-Bissaka because, again, playing out of position, but turning up and doing a job for West Ham. Looks like he's going to be a shrewd piece of business and maybe an early contender for Hammer of the Year, but we're still early days. Still early days. But again, yeah, Lopetegui, for me, he's had a little bit of a bedding in period, and I think now's the time to potentially unleash the talent that we are and know we've got and are very capable of bringing to the table. I thought Somerville had a fantastic game when he came on for the park, and I think he's also another bright spark as well. So some positives to take from today. Negatives, we know, not afraid to change because obviously the starting lineup just was not the best. So let me know your thoughts as I jump into the last point, and that is the fight till the end. Because we've made those substitutions, because we've utilised the squad, because we knew we were chasing the game, we've brought on Danny Ings, we've brought on other substitutes, and we showed the fight and determination. It was a game of two halves. We didn't play well in the first half. We played a lot better in the second half. And for me, we equaled out what happened to us and what came to us in the onslaught of the first half to try. And we were unlucky, really, in the end, because if you look at the clear-cut chances, great save from Leno to stop Bowen putting the ball in the back of the net. Areola didn't have a lot to do the whole game. Their finishing boots were not on. And once we grew into the game, I felt like if we scored, then we could have went on and scored again. And to be honest with you, I think the game finished a bit too early. If it went on for another 5 minutes, I think we probably would have scored and got a second goal and walked away with the 3 points. But at least we've got the fight till the end. Changes have been made. Changes are definitely there. What a drastic difference it is from getting smashed 5-0 at Craven Cottage and drawing 1-0. So it is what it is. There it is. Onwards and upwards. Let me know your thoughts. Put it in the comments. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up. And of course, come on, you irons.